Welcome back to another episode of Times New Roman Soldiers, where we read books, and right now it's time to talk about Iron Flame. It was supposed to be the first 150 pages, but it's okay. You know, sometimes in life you fail, and it just happens. I mean, Will didn't fail. I didn't fail. I guess that means Greg failed.
Wait a second. You didn't say 150 pages. It was 333.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was confusion too, because I got to the weekend and I was like on 189. I was like, I gotta be close to the end here. Scrolled a few, and I was like, still not there. Got to chapter 36. We were off by 130 pages. I gave Greg the heads up either Saturday or Sunday.
I said it was 200 and something at the end of the video. What was it?
I know. I thought you said like 220.
I said 200 and something. I definitely didn't say 220. I said 200 and something.
Nick,
but I don't know why I thought it was the first 150 pages. Okay, so
Nick,
this guy right here is the idiot, and I'm calling out Greg.
Yeah, Nick, it's crazy that you start the intro off gaslighting me into 150 pages when it's 330. I'm not gonna lie, I was on page like 79 or whatever on like Wednesday. Was it? No, not Wednesday, like Thursday or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna chill for now.
You made up ground. You made up ground.
But
that's what I was chilling, thinking it was shorter.
I know. Will texted me and was like, dude, problem. It's going to be 3:30. And I was like, ah, crap. And then, of course, Friday night. 3:30? There's a 3:30. It was brutal.
Oh, dude. So I was off 130 pages. Well, that's pretty bad.
Oh, it was terrible. But on Friday night.
I was giving you an extra 20.
Damn.
Yeah, but on Friday night, got sick. Got a little stomach bug.
Oh,
things happen. Whole weekend ruined. So probably should have read, but I didn't.
I mean, like, no excuse. I mean, like, you could have read on the toilet. I'm just saying.
I could have.
You could have. You know, it's not sanitary, and you probably were dying, but like, you could have.
I'm like most men. I comfort watch on the toilet, so I have my YouTube going. That's how it works. Going.
I hope people are watching this doing that.
This is for the women to know. While your boyfriend's in the bathroom, he's watching YouTube videos. All right, that's why he's in there.
Of course, that's why it's 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. This is why we all in the bathroom for a long time.
So Will finished. He's up to part 2. So we'll start by saying spoilers if you have not read up to chapter 35 of Iron Flame, because that's where Greg is, which is literally just a chapter before part 2. But that's okay. He made up a lot of ground today, so that's fine. So we're going to hand it to Greg, because Greg's got to control this conversation tonight, so Will and I do not give spoilers.
Yeah. I recency bias, I should be good knowing what comes. Nick, maybe take a back seat, because the last two chapters rather important to part 1.
Yeah, because I literally kind of gave a little spoiler before we even started when I was like, oh, so you're at the part she wakes up. Like, not that it's a big spoiler, but like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, essentially, I'm
happens after that.
I'm like a page turn away from her waking up, but no.
Yeah.
So you think?
Well, like,
so I think
Will can attest to this. The waking up thing, though, is like really massive. Like, not to give anything away.
Dude, you guys are like teasing me with like this. This is crazy.
You know, but let's hear from you.
A fucking bitch.
How? No one's a bitch. So
the Nolan slander right off the rip.
Okay, well, like,
you got to the point where you should not like Nolan.
True, but I'm not gonna say anything because
there's still a lot of book left.
I don't want to say anything, dude, because my favorite characters seem to be characters that you guys don't like. So I am
lover.
No,
are you about to say that Nolan's one of your favorite characters?
Oh no, he's not one of my favorite characters, but I enjoy. I enjoy the plot line of some of these devious villains that are going around the book. It is quite interesting.
Okay.
Varrish,
they're good.
Might be one of my favorite characters.
Who?
Varrish. I'm going to take a weird stance. I think Varrish. Sorry, I think he is probably one of my favorite characters. Not that I like him, but do I think he's
good spice?
He's
awesome.
He's
good for the book.
He did get viciously bitched out by Tyrion. Viciously bitched out.
That scene crazy.
Oh my god!
He's like, So I don't know if you guys. So like when I did my reread of the books, I did the graphic audio. Dude, that scene in the graphic audio, holy shit! Because like it emphasizes like how pissed off like Tiernan is, and I didn't realize this when I first read it. So I don't know if you guys read it or realized it. If you did, kudos to you guys. Is in that scene, it's just like the fight field when Tiernan shows like the memory of all of like of Amber trying to kill Violet. During this scene, everybody on the fight field can hear him. He's in all of their heads, like screaming at Varrish. And I didn't pick that up when I read it. Exactly. I didn't pick that up when I read it, but when I listened to it, I was like, no fucking way. Dude, like when I listened, I had goosebumps. I was like, this guy, when Violet's like, that's enough. And he's like, not to me. Oh my God, dude.
He's the man.
Or
the dragon. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's arguably my favorite character.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
He's unreal. And then when he grabs Varys' fucking dragon's neck, and he's like, I will literally kill him right now.
I am very much looking forward to a future scene where he fucks up Solus and Solus dies.
I hope you get it.
Dude,
I'm hoping that's how Varys dies.
I don't think
Solus dying.
I don't think Solus is the problem, dude. I think he alludes to it in chapters later that Varrish is probably one of the only riders that has major influence on his dragon instead of the other way around.
Commands his dragon. Yeah.
So I want them to answer that one point because I forget, it's either Zayden or Violet hurls like an insult at him saying like, oh, so you implying that it wasn't Solus that burned the third wing, it was you?
That was Zayden.
That was Zayden that hurls that insult? And he doesn't answer that.
Because Zayden that's in the scene when they're in the tunnels and they found him, and that's when Varys like gets mad, like Cadet Sorrengill, why are you here? And Zayden's like, well, you have no like command over me. Dude, and then he throws that line, which is cold.
Dude, I can't help but smile right now because I'm like revisiting all the things in my head. There is so much that goes down in these 300 plus pages.
Oh, dude, and if you
I don't know where to begin.
So here's the thing. This is the biggest difference. I know. So a lot of people had mixed feelings about Iron Flame, and the problem is Fourth Wing was like, it was kind of just like up. Like, you know what I mean? It was like everything was just like great. It was moving forward. Where Iron Flame is more of a roller coaster because it's an info dump. Mm-hmm. So I was saying, Willie, I think YouTube, don't freak out if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, but I believe Rebecca Yarrow said it's like 90. It was either 60,000 or 90,000 more words than Fourth Wing, and you can tell in the book because, like you said, the first 300 pages of the book, you're like, "Holy shit, so much has happened!" And I promise you, in the next, I think 300 pages in the book, even more happens. Like the whole book, everything you know just like opens up. It's like wild. And I know Will kind of understands where I'm at right now, but like Iron Flame takes the story to like the next level where you're like, finally, dude. Well, it's wild. Dude.
And I didn't realize that it was going to be like, since it's a planned 5-book series, I thought that they would. Again, I'm trying not to spoil the like last 2 chapters. I remember you
saying this though in one of the earlier videos.
Just like the way it was gonna go, I thought more time would be spent like
building
in like a progressive build towards this instead of it coming so quick in the second book.
Yeah. But I will say this though. Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, back to what you're saying, where like Rebecca added 90,000 more words to this book.
Yeah.
I think just the 90,000 more words are just Violet and Zayden having like weird, frustrating sex. I think that is. I can't tell you. I like when they finally break.
Actually, no.
When they finally break, it's like 30 pages. Like literally feels like 30 pages when they're breaking in the shower and they're just going hard.
The shower.
It was.
So there's actually only one.
She thought he was gonna die, dude. It was.
Yeah. But like, okay, I loved that scene. Because, like, I feel like that was the first moment, in my opinion at least, that, like, Violet shows. I mean, like, this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but this is my opinion. Is that, like, I feel like that was the first moment in any of, like, even Fourth Wing or Iron Flame that she truly chose Xaden over everything else. Because, like, she was willing to basically get, like, kicked out of the Riders Quadrant and die for breaking Chain of Command to go see if he was okay. Where, like, in the first book, like, she's kind of like, is that puppy love? And I feel like the second book is really where she's like, I'm, like, head over heels in love with this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that scene, because the whole book, he's telling her, like, you know, I basically, like, you know, we're not going to be together unless you, like, say the words, I love you. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, like, and you'll see, like, in this second part, like, he eventually breaks and he's like, do you not understand, like, this whole time, like, I've been doing everything I can to show you that, like, I love you, to trust you and all that. And the first moment that Violet, like, is like, I love this guy too and I want to work for it, is that scene. Now, there's a much major scene later in the book, but this, in my opinion, was, like, the first time that I was like, oh, Violet actually cares about this guy. And I feel like their relationship made it to the next level.
I agree. That's definitely, like, a big stepping stone for them. They both just need to, like, get over themselves and fucking just be together.
No,
like it.
Listen, I don't think Xaden did anything wrong. I'm sorry, and that might be an unpopular opinion, dude. And Greg, I feel like
I think both are just dumb,
dude. But what did Xaden do wrong? Greg's gonna back me up.
I'm not saying Xaden did anything wrong. I'm not saying Violet did anything wrong. They both just need to fucking.
I think Violet is a baby, because I think in the
I don't disagree with that.
And, like, she definitely changes towards the end of the book, but in the beginning of this book, she's just, like, whining. And I think the best part is when, I hope Greg got there, is when Imogen and her are going on their run, and Imogen's like, you know, basically is like, if you love the fucking guy, like, just be with him. And she's like, it's not that easy. And she's like, well, then just tell your fucking friends. And she's like, I can't. And she's like, why can't you? And then I love the next scene is when, like, Xaden comes back and he's like, who'd you tell? And then they're like, and then Imogen's like, or Violet's like, well, Imogen told quit. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is wrong with you two?
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of that scene was them, like, coming to knowledge, to understand that, like, I'm trying to think, like, the situation that they find themselves in is not, like, the situation doesn't stem from them. Like, they are, like, under the umbrella of the situation. So it's like, they don't have any control of, like, where the situation goes, who finds out, who knows. Even though, like, I feel like they're almost like their egos are, like, at a point where they feel like they are alone, the ones that, like, can, like, solve the issue. But in reality, it's like this whole situation is like, it's going to take, like, an army to, like, solve this problem. And I think that whole talk with Imogen, the dagger getting sucked in by Rihanna. Like, I think a lot of these little pieces, like, coming together, Jessenia getting the books, and obviously Brody, and all these characters are coming together, and it's like, I think all of them are starting to realize, like, that you can't, like, the more you try to shelter it, the slower progress works, and especially as this enemy that's coming from the Barrens is ramping up, and everyone's like, we don't really have a year anymore, we probably have months. Now I think it's starting to realize, I think that also comes in even more plain sight when they finally steal the books. It's like, oh, we are so much better, like, once we just start telling everyone, just start throwing trust around and just see what happens.
It's interesting you say that, though, because, like, yeah, but it's interesting you say that, because, like, I agree with that statement 100%. However, you will see, and it's a common theme in the book, that, like, although, yes, that is 100% true, and I think you are correct that Violet and Xaden finally realized that it is true. However, in multiple different scenes, especially in the second part, you will see that the teamwork, that they're like, oh, the teamwork, they're all like, well, we have, you know, Sorengale and Ryerson, and they're the two most powerful riders. We don't need anybody else. So it's almost like their ego almost comes from, like, not Xaden's, but, like, Violet's almost comes from, like, all of her friends, because they gas her up the whole time. Like, they're like, well, you could just kill, you know, 35 Venom out of thin air. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, we're like,
well, it also doesn't help that Tyrion's just, like, the cockiest son of a bitch, like, in the planet.
Yeah, but he deserves it, though.
Oh, it's deserved. It's so cool.
Second best.
He is.
Whoa, who's the first?
I think
I'm
the
still
other
going by the
one that
quote.
we haven't met yet.
Yeah, I'm still going by the quote. He calls himself the second best in the continent.
He's the best, dude.
He's humble himself. He's humble to learn.
Yeah, but you'll
learn.
You're a big we know what Violet knows.
Yeah.
Like Violet knows that.
Damn, throwing my words back at me.
Yeah, take it.
Okay, so then what do you guys feel? I mean, I feel like I'm an asshole, and I didn't want to tell you guys, and I couldn't have told you guys. But when he comes back, he's back. You gotta know who I'm talking about. I don't want to say.
Oh,
you guys
you're talking about JB, big JB, dude. Team JB
is back.
JB's the boy, dude. I don't know what you guys thought the feelings on him. JB's the man. Like, if we're talking about Dain needs a redemption arc. JB just had a full christening in front of us. He is now born again Christian. He has come back from literally the depths of hell and being an asswipe to being the man. He's the man. He saves Soren.
He does say though
from the edge of stone. Go ahead, Will. Save me here.
At the end of that, though, or maybe I think it's at the end of it. It might be a different conversation they have, but he's just we're even. So we don't know if he's gonna we're not at anything past that where it seems there's nothing saying that he's gonna kill her again. The way he's acting, it doesn't seem like it, but it's not out of the picture.
He has
yet.
a secret. He has major secret.
He did hit her with a nod, though. He hit her with a "What's up?" before Nolan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hits her
he's
with the
being
jizz.
cool. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's inside job. They're bringing him back, try to get him to fucking sneak spy in, and
what's his
relay
power
information back.
Do you know his powers?
I totally forget. I don't even know if we learned his signet.
I'm trying to think. Does he have a cool signet, or is he soft? I think it was 5 probably.
One.
He has to have.
I'm trying to remember during the first War Games when Violet Ellison drops a mountain on him. Right. I don't think he has one that's rocking.
Hold on, I'm looking it up right now.
I wanted to bring one up I wanted to bring up a signet that we learned in the last chapter.
Before
Greg doesn't know yet, I want to bring it up.
Oh, hold on. Before we bring it up, for those who don't understand, JB is Jack Barlow. Yes. Okay, sorry, Will, go ahead.
Make sure. And for those who don't understand or have not read Fourth Wing, we're talking about War College in a fantasy world where two people that are supposed to be sworn enemies fall in love, and there's dragons. And a fun little tidbit for you: the dragons have sex too, which is crazy, but it happens. Continue.
Alluded to.
There's also griffins, and there's a bunch of other mythical things.
This is in talks because shout out Will's buddy Andy. So got you.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yes. Good. Yeah. Looking out for you, Andy. I don't even remember what I was saying. What were we?
You were saying a signet. You were saying a signet. You want to talk about a signet?
Oh no, Nick knows what I'm talking about. We see one of the professor's signets at the end of the last chapter, and then when we see Bodhi's signet, Nick. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Learn Bodhi's signet.
It's awesome. Bodhi is the fucking man.
The man.
But the professor's signet is I'd want to hear Greg's comments on it because it's a bitch power.
Greg's gonna be so pissed.
Yeah, it's a bitch power.
Is that's Kiori, right?
Nah, Car.
That's what I was gonna say. He's the signet
Which
teacher.
Is crazy.
Yes.
That's
so funny. Greg, just wait.
Not much of a spoiler, Greg.
It's not much of a spoiler, but you're gonna be are you fucking kidding me? This guy trains signets and he has a bitch power.
Dude,
you're gonna be so upset. Will is so right, dude.
This is gonna be an hour of just Greg. You should have just read the last 2 chapters. You should have. I'm gonna get teased.
I already no. That was one time. I apologize.
It was a one
because that was the one thing from these next 2 that you're gonna read that I 100% needed your opinion on.
Dude, can we just talk about we got to go back to the beginning of Iron Flame because there's a big piece that happens at the very beginning. Remember where they're at? What is it? Is it presentation?
Andor?
It's a presentation, I think, where the first year that is pretty much a Jack Barlow 2.0 comes over and goes, which one of you is Violet?
I was gonna bring that up.
I forget who stands up and says it's her.
Oh, Nadine.
Nadine.
Was
Pour
it
one out for Nadine.
Was it Nadine?
When you guys
I
were
know.
saying
Oh, it was
info
Nadine,
dump, I
yeah.
was just gonna say it's just death.
It's just death. I was gonna bring that up.
It's
when you guys were
literally a
talking
Game
about
of Thrones
turret.
season, dude.
Yeah,
It's
when you guys were talking about
crazy.
the turret, I was gonna bring up how sad is the death of the girl that like fights besides Violet.
Aya
Jack
or
did-
Iya?
yeah, Aya.
So
Aya, that's
sad.
her name.
Aya,
Didn't
right?
really
Okay.
didn't feel
Yes.
anything about that one, to be honest with you. It was just like,
Really?
No, dude,
I
that one
didn't
was
feel anyone,
sad.
to be honest with you.
Mason died.
Jesus.
That you don't like see about that, but they just like tell you.
A lot of these characters,
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
that
like
one
I
is
didn't
about-
make any
yeah.
connections at all.
No. Oh,
Nadine hurt.
Tomas was sad.
The Nadine one hurts the most, especially because
Nadine
it's
was
like
crazy.
she wasn't really part of the group, but then like towards the end of Fourth Wing, and then especially all the first half of Iron Flame until she does.
They were
die.
gearing her up. They were gearing her up to be like
She's
a main
all
character.
about, like she's totally in the group at that point, and then like just to like pretend and like to protect Violet, and she does that. My only thing that pisses me off about that whole scene, and like I get it because it's like as like the reader, the Rebecca's like, oh, I want you to like understand she's not so strong, bro. She almost gets like fucking bitch slapped by this first year, and like she goes toe to toe with fucking Venom and Zayden Ryerson, who Zayden's the best fighter, and she beats him. Like, well, doesn't beat him, but like goes toe to toe with them. And then like this first year comes in, and she's like, I could barely breathe, I could barely win, and it's like, bro, what the fuck? What do you mean? This doesn't make any sense to me.
I feel like
I
that's
do
every fight
agree.
with
She
her.
looked a tad bit soft there.
I was like, this
The only
doesn't make
thing I'd
sense to
say to
me.
that is like, at least I'd have to imagine that this first year was like trained in the art of being like
I was
He-
thinking
he
like
was a
at
trained
least,
his
at least
ass
a
off.
fighter like before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, like even without the lightning, I thought she'd be better. But then
yeah.
there's another scene where she fights someone like after that she like looks like a total tank in like battles. I feel
Well,
like.
then she starts training harder. Because even like when she's on like the fucking stairs with all the infantry soldiers, like she fucking beats the shit out of all of them. Like, you know.
And she
but-
goes for kill shots now, which I like. No more
Mhm.
fucking shoulder shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes for kill shots now, which is nice. But yeah, I thought Nadine's death was really sad. But then also like what was your guys' reaction to Dain taking her to the mat?
Oh,
That
great
was-
scene.
dude, Villain.
Great scene.
Villain.
Great scene. I
Greg
enjoyed
Sky
that
right there.
thoroughly.
It,
dude.
it was a very well written.
Not my guy, but it was sick. Not my guy, but it was sick. I was
What do
so
you-
excited, dude. I was so pissed. I was like, where's Dain? He wasn't in any of the chapters.
He's
and then all of a
not
sudden he came
in
out
it
of
big.
nowhere.
Well, that's because
The
Violet's
first
ignoring
34
him.
chapters. He's
You know,
Yeah, because she's like, stay the fuck away from me.
there's a piece of me that's like, Violet, relax. It's not that deep. Like, he is your best friend. Let him
He
back
killed
in.
Liam.
No, he didn't. This is
He didn't
all,
kill Liam,
This is
dude.
all
He killed
crazy facts.
Dude, he's a 21-year-old kid who trusted his dad to
Exactly.
do the right thing.
And he even,
Have you? We've met the dad, dude. How do
Well.
you trust that? You got to know
Well.
not
He
to
doesn't
trust
know. He
that.
doesn't know that.
Will.
But Will, he also
After what
tells. He
you
also says
just
it.
read, Will, how can you sit here and not feel
I'm
down?
acting.
Okay.
I'm talking for the first 34 chapters,
Like,
Nicholas.
it sounds
So
awesome,
that's
dude.
what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking. What, Greg? You want to yell at someone? Yell at Nick. He's bringing in the last two. I'm not.
Well, no, because I know about the interrogation. I know about the interrogation when Dain gets called in by Varish. I know all about that.
That's a good look for Dain.
That's a good look. But
That was the first like.
Wait,
pro
whoa,
point.
whoa. How do you know about that?
that's like chapter
RSC,
30s, maybe even chapter 29, probably.
The RSC
yeah, the
interrogation
RSC.
when Dain comes in.
Gotcha.
When all four of them are
I got
going through
you,
the
Nick.
interrogations.
Well,
Okay, next about to just drop. So I know there's more interrogations about to come. Motherfuckers.
Almost just ruined.
I,
Greg, you read those two
I'm
chapters?
playing
I thought you said you
defense
didn't.
out here.
Okay.
Greg,
like,
I
how
got
did
you.
you
I'm
know?
playing defense.
Damn, good job, Will.
This is like how
I
do we
got
telephone
you.
information?
So all right, you brought up a good point though, the RSC, dude. So how do you guys feel about that? Because a lot of the fans are really pissed off because people are pissed because there are 3 characters. I understand it's a secret and you're not supposed to say anything, and I get that. But the fans are really pissed because there's 3 characters that, even if it was supposed to be a secret, in reality, in real life, would have fucking told her. And those characters would be Brennan. And I don't think Brennan would have told her. I think Brennan would have told Mira in the book of Brennan. Mira would have told her in real life. And Xaden not telling her. Xaden not telling her was the biggest one, especially after Fourth Wing, when, well, I guess he's a third year, so I guess, yeah, he wouldn't be taking it. But that one, to me, like, out of all of them, I was like, Xaden should have fucking told her.
I agree with Xaden. I didn't really think about that, especially since like they're having like their arguments all the time and like about secrets. So I guess he just lumps that one in. The Book of Brennan you brought up.
Imogen, like they're training together.
Imogen, yeah. Well, Imogen just went through it, right? Because she's third year now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
so she would have went through it.
So she would have just did it.
Point.
Yeah. I think there's something where she's like, yeah, it fucking sucks, or like it just doesn't get better, or like something like that. Yeah, she does
acknowledge it. Yeah.
But the Book of Brennan you brought up is a good point, because I guess it would be this book, because it wouldn't make sense to say it in Fourth Wing. But there is like the start of a chapter clip from Book of Brennan, and he's like, there's something I can't tell you about, like obviously talking to Mira, but like it's terrible. But so like, dude, I guess Brennan wouldn't do that.
I get it, but he literally told Mira how to cheat during the fucking fights. Like
everything else, yeah.
That's why I'm like, he told you to go to the professor's log to see who you were fighting so you could prepare.
It is like, weird how easily they share like other secrets, but
not that one.
That's like one that everyone's like sworn into like secrecy or something. Like almost like a severance thing. Like they actually can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, like, Nick, what are you alluding to, like, that they could have told her?
Okay, so
are you alluding to Dagger, or are you alluding to?
No. I'm alluding to the class of them getting kidnapped and things like that. But however, actually, you brought up a really good point, because I just remembered that, because at first, when I was originally thinking about it and when I originally read it, I was like, well, why wouldn't they tell her about like the serum, like with the dragons?
They're the first year to be the serum.
They are the first year to do it. You are correct. So that was not something they could tell them. But again, you would think that Xaden would be like, listen, like, you're going to get kidnapped. Like, you know what I mean? But I guess none of them had it as bad as they did.
But no, they didn't. They knew they were going to be kidnapped. Yeah, because they're full forthcoming in the RSC class, I think it's called, right? They're forthcoming. They're like straight up, like, you will be taken. Like, and they know, because other second years have been taken before them. They're like fully aware that other people are being taken.
They do at least, even if they don't say it. I don't remember that for sure, but they definitely do allude to talking about seeing other people get like taken away.
Yeah, they know. They know full about this.
First, you Fourth Wing fans, Times New Roman soldiers just dropped a bomb on you. You fucking idiots! Just kidding. There was nothing they could have told you, because, like Greg said, they were the first ones to get the serum. So none of those 3 characters could have told you, you idiot, Nick.
Exactly.
Stupid idiot.
First time.
Well, just about the serum.
Smartest.
They could have shared about other shit.
Yeah, but like Greg's right though. Like, they're very forthcoming with all the other shit. It's literally just the only thing they didn't. I think they don't tell them about the infantry soldiers and like the scribe and then like the all that stuff. But I don't think that matters as much. But like, yeah, like the serum would have been the big one. But Greg's right that they were first years doing it.
I think they do. Well, they do allude.
Honestly, like if they wanted to, like a big hint, because it seems like, because I think it's when Violet's talking to Mira at Samara, the like it being 2 maps. Because I think Violet said that to Mira. I could be wrong. Who she was talking to about it?
Yeah,
but they were like,
Mira.
Well, I think
how cool is that scene with her
that whole
and Mira
chapter was fucking crazy.
When he wants to tell her, and Mira's like, "What's really going on?" And like she doesn't tell her. So now my question is to the two of you: do you think Mira knows?
No, I think she's just like too. I don't know. She's too much like her mom, because in that scene she tells her about like the folklore. Tells her about asking her about Venet. I don't know if it was Venet or Wyvern. She asked about one of those, and the other, and Mira's just like, "You're losing it. Like, you need to go get some sleep. Yeah. This is like you're like being sleep deprived. Like, she thinks it's like you're just like you're cooked, like mentally. You need to go take a break."
I don't think she's high enough in the chain of command yet to get the information.
The only thing
and just because like we do get again, not a spoiler, like a little tidbit of like what rank you have to be when you eventually do get information, and I don't think Mira's there yet.
I do think Mira knows about the killing of civilians, though. I think for sure she probably knows about all that.
Like what's going on with the Paramish people?
Yeah, then them like killing people as they come in or whatever. Like, because that whole leaflet gets the leaflet gets dropped, but then there's also information getting brought in from the front lines that Navarians are killing civilians, I believe.
They're not straight up killing them. They're just not letting them come into the borders.
Are you thinking of the letter, Greg, that she gets that Markham takes and then addresses at the start of class?
So I am partial about that's the leaflet I'm talking about, the propaganda that Mark says.
How do you feel about that? Do you think it's real or do you think it's fake?
Oh, well, these are two separate things.
That's two different, because the other thing I'm talking about, the civilians being killed. I want to say, who tells her that? Was that Zayden that tells? That Zayden tells her that? I think it's Zayden tells her that their civilians got killed or something like that's wherever he's outposted. I forget the name of it, or something. Samara, yeah. I don't because I don't. It's fuzzy in my mind because it's definitely like 10 or 15 chapters back. But I'm
not sure with that. I know the letter that she gets from home is, which I think is just like the announcement that her parents got. It was like, don't let in any civilians into your house, like no matter how friendly they might be. And then the leaflet that like is on everyone's desk in battle brief,
that says that they're killing civilians.
It's and it says like, because from Violet's point of view, obviously, since she knows, it's like no one else catches on. They just think that it says like blue dragons, but it's like blue dragon fire from whatever version of the Wyvern that
Wyverns, yeah.
Because there's three different versions, I think they say.
Yeah.
One has blue fire.
Dude, there's so much.
Well, they talk about Navarian had captured something, like completely devastated an army or something like that. That's what the leaflet. I remember.
I forget about that, but I
need to reread what that leaflet says, because that leaflet talks more about, because it alludes to them essentially exterminating like an entire like town on the grounds of like killing blue dragons or something like that. Or
that's because they like the way it reads to like most people is that it's dragons attacking like civilians because the people, like the students, don't know that. What is it, Wyvern?
Yeah, Wyvern.
Yeah,
Wyvern. They don't know that like they're real. Because at that point, like Reese and Sawyer and Riddick still don't know.
Yeah.
Big up, here we go. By the way, Riddick is just like ultimate comedy relief, but also just the man. I love him and Sawyer's dynamic.
Hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to the part where Sawyer wants to learn sign language?
I don't know if no, because
okay.
The only thing that's because he's like obviously had now, I think 2, maybe 3 interactions like where they're all in the archives with Jasenia. And like Violet like says something, and then Violet's like, I translate for Sawyer.
Yeah, maybe they referenced it once, because it does sound somewhat familiar, but I don't know. But I did want to just read that leaflet real quick, because I pick up the half sheet of parchment on my chair and flip it over, and the squad meets the same. Zola falls to Dragonfire. The 3rd largest city in Bravik province has fallen to the blue fire dragons and their riders. Though the city and its drifts fought valiantly, the 2-day battle ended in Poramish defeat. All who did not evacuate have perished. An estimated 10,000 lives have been lost, including General Fanilla and commander of the Bravik's Griffin fleet. All trade routes to the city have been barricaded and prevent further loss of life. So I just want to know how they interpret that. Do they interpret that as the blue dragon riders as Navarians, or do they That's how that's how the class interprets that?
Yes.
Okay.
They think that the Navarians killed all those Griffin Riders.
That's because I think at the end of the chapter, Greg, Violet's like, the positioning of fire in that sentence is like key to everything. And like, no one else knows
if they only, because she looks back, I believe, if I remember correctly, she looks back to Imogen and Bodhi. And they kind of give her the look because they're the only three in there that know the truth of like what that actually means.
Okay, that makes sense.
And know that it's actually true because that was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that whatever his name is, the scribe guy, I don't remember his fucking name, Markham. He says that it's fake news, that it's not real.
Yeah, he's like, I thought we'd be ready for a lesson on propaganda, but clearly we're not. And then like,
and Violet knows he's lying.
Yeah, because Violet tells Ree, he's like, if this is like a lie or something, like he'll deflect, distract, and whatever the fucking other one was.
Yeah, and it was.
It was exactly that.
Dude, there's so much. There was something else I want to bring up because there's just like so much.
Dude, we haven't talked about the One Piece, bro. Because Varrish kind of comes in. He kind of comes in out of nowhere. Like really, realistically, his character kind of just pops up out of the blue. Because like Dain's father's all pissy, so brings in this random guy. But we have to talk about Varrish punishing Vi out in the fields with
Car.
Was it Car? Yeah, with Car. Yeah. Making her like strike like what is it, 30 plus times or whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to preference because Tyrion is like this badass dragon, but I don't understand his point of view of where he's like, I'm just gonna let my rider die in front of me. Like he keeps hissing and like being soft, but like
no, he
doesn't do anything really.
It's not. No. That's because Violet snaps at him and tells him that he's not going to intervene, and it's not until the last strike that he like becomes unsettled and like basically like decides like fuck Violet's command, like I'm going to save my rider. And then that's when she like overheats, and then that's when like he gets really upset with her.
Because then she all of a sudden she like starts. Because like I forget how the book wrote it. Because like after that last strike, she starts overheating, but she can't like bring her arms down to strike, so she gets like stuck in like this like striking phase.
Cut the power off.
Is the lightning coming from her, just beaming out and like crushing a mountain, or is it like just raining a lightning bolt and just like incinerating a mountain? Because I wanted to know how it is. What is it?
I read it as like just rapid fire from the sky. I didn't read it like as it coming out of her. That'd be kind of crazy if it was.
I read it as like one straight beam, just like decapitating a mountain.
If that's that would be pretty awesome if her signature becomes that. If she can just like throw lightning bolts at people, I'm in for that.
I've been predicting that in my head.
In that scene, it's when she does like when she can't bring her like arms down, she can't release the lightning, so it's like charging in the cloud. And then when she like the way like it reads and the way I picture it, it's like Pikachu doing fucking Thunder Blast. Like, you know, when he's like Pikachu, that one. It's that when she finally releases, it's like that style of lightning bolt. Your theory is interesting. You should keep reading, but your theory is interesting.
Dude, I just expanded upon
what I said
about lightning coming out of her. It's interesting.
Yeah,
that would be cool if she can fucking throw him.
Dude, I have a theory because there's the scene where they go to drop the weapons off to the Griffins, to the Flyers, and the same characters there. Serena, I think is her name. Yeah,
that actually is her name.
And
we figured it out.
We have the chit chat about the cat girl because there might be some problematics there. But whatever, she like
really brings cat.
Yeah, there's a scene where she's like talking because they're like I don't know, they're having an argument or whatever, and then she talks about how her hands like crackling with like power. I'm just like, when are we gonna get like the Star Wars like freaking lightning out of the hands, like just shooting and just killing people? It's gonna be awesome.
It's in power.
That's the future. Onyx Storm.
Some Palpatine, Duke.
Yeah, I mean, keep reading. I told you that all of their signets, like they grow into their power, so just keep reading. There is a funny line though, like you said, I'm not gonna say it, but in part two something happens, and it's funny because like you're like, can we talk about her punishment where it's like she did like 31 strikes and all that? And there's a really funny line in part two where like again, I don't want to give it away, but they talk about that, and it's like you don't realize it. It's like one of those things because it's written so well, like you don't think about it, and you're like, wait a minute, that was fucking stupid. Why didn't they like do that first? It's really interesting. It's really well done. It's but it's cool. No, I mean, I think that part's crazy. I think like the whole burnout thing to me is so interesting because up until that point, none of the riders like burnt out, which is interesting because like to me, I know it's like at the end of Fourth Wing, Zayden's close, Violet's close at the end of Fourth Wing, but it wasn't until that scene where like she truly was about to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was so cool how like I just felt like the way it was written was so awesome. How it was like she's in freezing cold water, but like she was on fire. Like I just thought like all the adjectives and everything that like Rebecca used to describe it, like I really felt like there was like nothing up to question, which is like really cool. It didn't lack any detail.
Mm.
No, it was really well written.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun, dude.
That scene, so Varrish, we've talked about Varrish. We have to talk about them going to steal the books and grabbing. Dude, we have to talk about so much. We didn't talk about. Is his name Eric and the other girl Sloane?
Arik
and Sloane.
Arik.
We haven't talked about that, dude. We have to break into some of this.
So well, dude, I can't.
Here.
This is why I said, Greg. This is why I said you have to start the conversation. No, I understand that, but this is why I said you have to get the conversation going because, like, I can't say those things because I don't remember if you know that or not.
Dude, I
feel
like
dropping those bombs and then be like,
I feel like right now I'm on King Kong alone, taking the roller coaster down every single time, and then as I'm going down,
you're just in the back row. I'm in the front.
I'm not on Kingdom because it just got blown up. So you guys have fun.
Sad, dude.
That was sad. That was sad.
Pour one out.
I don't even know why they got rid of it.
The drone footage was really cool because it's not the tallest or fastest roller coaster anymore. So they got rid of it. But the drone footage of it coming down was really cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was so sad.
It was sad. It's like childhood memories just gone, you know? It's like sad. As long as El Toro's still there, it's okay. But no, how do you with Sloane? Where are you guys at with Sloane? Does she still hate? Okay, so she's bonded, but then where is her and Violet at?
It's still a hatred, but
But Violet go up to her and was like, you know, like, let's do this. Is Sloane training with Imogen?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of this. Okay. Greg is at a point where Sloane is not going to come back up. Again, I'm pretty sure that Sloane's not really talked about in the last two.
So how great, though, is that scene where Violet's like, basically like, I don't give a fuck if you hate me. You can hate me all you want, but you're going to train with Imogen. She's like, I'm not doing anything. She goes, yes, you are, because I have letters from your brother Liam, and you will not get them unless you show up to training. What a cold fucking line. That's when Violet's character, he finally becomes a badass, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a big scene for her.
The hat goes on, and she's like, I'm a bad motherfucker. That's what I think.
The problem is, I feel like if they start making Violet like badass like that, you know what it reminds me of? It just reminds me of Mira. It just like I'm getting Mira vibes from like the more she becomes cooler. So I almost kind of like we kind of have to halt the progress on her being too badass because I feel like she just becomes Mira. We have two Miras.
I agree with that in a sense, but also I think it's interesting how Violet like at least seems to be different from Brennan and Mira in the point of Violet's not really much for rules. Like she doesn't really have a problem.
Mira follows them to a T.
Like Violet really just goes based off what's right and wrong according to her, and like,
she goes off feelings.
Yeah. But like how we were talking about like morals for Dain, Violet just goes off what her morals are and like leans that way.
And they just happen to be
Brennan. Like
I feel like they all do that though.
We don't know enough about him yet, but Mira like clearly is a rule follower based.
I just really wanted to say.
I mean, he's the man just for surviving, but we got.
Like, did he survive?
8 dialogue lines, like something like barely.
Did he ever
and
actually
just
die?
his book. Yeah,
Did he? Are you sure?
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Naolan died.
Are you
So,
100%
at
positive?
least
Because
the
I'm
way-
not, and I'm Pathonic Storm, and I
No,
still don't know the answer,
because
so.
me and Sarah talked about this because she was confused, and I was like, "This is how I read it." It seemed like he died. Don't know how or if they said it, but Naolan then was able to successfully bring him back, but it cost Naolan everything, and he like burnt out essentially and died.
Well,
That's how I read it. I don't
Your
know if
opinion's
that's
noted.
right or
You're wrong, but it's noted.
let's hold
What's
on.
right?
Let's draw.
You just said you don't know what's right.
Let's draw.
Well,
let's draw some.
There's a theory out there.
Let's draw some
But
lines
there's no
here.
confirmation yet.
Let's draw some lines between this because we're saying that Brennan didn't die and that he was alive, or there's a theory that he did die and he got siphoned or whatever. But who do we know that just got brought back from death by a mender?
Jack, which makes no.
Mr.
I need to know
JD.
more about that because how like did he? Like again, we don't know what Brennan's death was. It seemed like Naolan or whoever, however he fucking or didn't die, whatever, was treated rather quickly. Jack was under a fucking mountain, and then like whole year gone by because it's or not year, I guess, because they kind of just start like right after. However much time passes until Varrish gets
4
there.
months, 6 months.
Dude, it's the pancake theory. The pancake theory is if you get fully squashed, you are able to get brought back to life. That's my theory. In the book, I'm not guaranteeing, this is only a theory, that if you get fully squashed and become paper thin, like a piece of paper, you therefore can get brought back to life.
What, Space Jam? They just hook you up
funny,
to an air compressor and pump you up?
Essentially, Nolan just like waves his hands over you and just like inflates you like an air mattress.
Grows.
And you like and every inch you just get a little bit more human like again. That's why it took him 6 months to bring back a soul. Because he was a full
this is what you get from Times
pancake.
and Roman guys. You get great takes where like they're right, and then you get these fucking ridiculous takes that it's
that one I'm not too sure about that one.
It's gonna stick. The pancake theory. You're here first.
Wait, let's go back then. I've read it. Nick, what do you think then?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you what I think.
So you have too much. You get more information, but not all the information.
Yeah, because like I was gonna like tell you what I thought, but then I was like, oh wait a minute, you guys would have came up with that theory as well if you knew what I knew. So we can have that conversation next video when you guys finish Iron Flame, because then you'll know, and I could bridge the gap for you guys there, and then that way you could be like, oh, I see, so that's why you thought this, and be like, yes.
Okay.
I didn't realize, so I'm glad I didn't say it because I didn't realize it. I was about to say it, and I was like, wait a minute.
I'm trying to remember like the words that I'm basing this off of, and I feel like it's said just, or like the only thing that's like set in stone is that like Naolan like
is dead,
but like he spent everything like saving me, and it's not like in a term of like him
so that
like jumping in front of a spear or like reviving him.
So that right there is why I know that you don't know what I thought you knew, because if you did, you'd be like, "Oh, I see." But it's like I don't want to say anything. But yeah, no. So that's no. You don't know. You don't. Okay. You don't know yet. You'll learn. You learn later. No, you'll learn later. Especially part 2 opens, like I told you. Part 2 opens the door to like so many things. Part 2 is so well done, dude. And like you want to talk about a roller coaster journey? It's a roller coaster journey. But yeah, no. So one of my favorite tidbits, I was talking to some of my friends about this over the weekend that all read it. Is
would be the other club you're talking about, the club you shoot on with,
the peasant club, the peasant club,
the warring club.
You know they watch these videos.
Hey, club out there!
All right, tell them to put up a video for us to watch.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious! They should give us takes, and we should argue their takes.
We could do that.
We're fighting for the continent. They're fighting for Navarre. All right.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, you
guys haven't got
their traders and we're Navarre's.
that name is a reference to one of the lines in Iron Flame, but you haven't got to that scene yet. But I will shout out Julie. It's funny because she brought up this point, and I never thought of this, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. It's so funny because it's like, all right, like we are reading in a fantasy book where there's like dragons and there's venom, and like the venom can only die by like special daggers, and like they get superpowers basically. Like, you know, like these people are like invincible. And then, like, the best piece of lore out of all of that is that Jack Barlow is allergic to oranges. And it's just so funny that, like, in a book that's so heavily detailed and so fantasy, Jack Barlow's one weekness is fucking citrus orange fruit.
There's probably like a
I would have said mountains, but he can survive mountains being dropped on him, so I guess it really just is oranges.
I would have said violet, but he survived that too, so yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if every character... I wouldn't be surprised if every character has like some like weird weakness, because we find out Riddick's like terribly afraid of snakes for like no reason. Like he's like,
that was funny when everyone's
snakes.
Just dropping deep dark secrets and he's just like, I can't stand snakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if every character has some weird kryptonite that we just like don't know, and it might be just something. It might be like an Easter egg that Rebecca just chucked in there, like things that she like met from people.
That's cool theory. You brought up the snakes thing. I do love that. And then I love when it's Violet's turn and she's like, I'm in love with Zayn and Ryerson. And they're all like, no shit.
Yeah. They're like, nice try.
And then she's like, well, can Reese count as both of ours?
Yeah.
What does Violet say as her secret again?
I was just trying to think of that.
I literally read it like not too long ago.
It tells them something about like the battle, I think, right? Like, doesn't she say like...
No, she says Navarre is killing citizens. That's what she says.
You're right. That's what she says. Right.
That's where I was, because I remember Zayn tells her that they're killing citizens.
You're right. And
they don't go much into that. They don't go much into that. I don't know why.
So how do you guys feel? Because I will tell you this. You will get the answer to the dagger later on in part 2. But are you guys mad that you didn't get the answer to the dagger? Like, what are your opinions and thoughts on the dagger?
What do you
mean? The dagger on the door to get out?
That Violet's dagger unlocked to the door.
I knew it.
Oh, yeah. Greg, if you have anything.
Do you have like thoughts or opinions about it?
Like, my thoughts or opinions on that are just like, it has something to do with like, because it's like a tierish dagger, it probably has something to do where it like naturally counters some kind of Navarian or ward powers or whatever. I don't even think Xaden really knows it knows it like that, or if he just was like, let me make this, or maybe he does, but I feel like he would have told her like this like fucks up wards or something like that. Because
you're so frustrating, because I was about to drop you like, so you think we're idiots, but we know what we're talking about.
Well, I know what I'm talking about. He made the damn hilt. He made the damn hilt.
Let me step in.
Yeah.
They talk about the alloy in the hilt of the dagger.
Yes, it helps.
And then it like becomes, I think they both don't know it in the conversation, but then they just like progressively speculate towards that the alloy is like part of what is needed to make the wards. So I'm thinking that the door to the interrogation room, whatever it was warded, and like when the alloys like buy it, like they like maybe not like cancel each other out, but like it's, or like they become one or something, like they mesh together. And
I'm gonna fill the blanks for you, Will. Here, I'm gonna fill the blanks for you, brother. Here.
All right, step in, Greg. I got you here.
Yeah, you got me on the right track now. The alloy of the dagger is similar to the alloy, whatever the wards. It naturally sucks in power. That's my guess. And so when she like tapped into the thing, like the ward power of the ward got like sucked into the hilt of the dagger, therefore like not warding it anymore because it absorbs power, like almost charging it. Because they talk about charging this random metal that they have to keep charging. So like my thoughts are like it just charged the hilt.
They charge power into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It like she like, you know, I mean, she like RFID that shit. Like she like Apple Pay the door. like, and just sucked it, and just like it was like a reverse Apple Pay. Yeah, just Sting and just got, but she got things instead of giving things.
Shit, the Face ID's not working. Hold on.
Yeah, no, she like, I don't know where did it. Like, I think that's a little tidbit, little drop of the hat. I think there's something there that's going to
so funny.
trigger.
Like, oh God, I will say
we're so close.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
No, Greg's right about the Tyrandor thing, but then Will is right about the ward. There's one thing you're missing, but you would not know it because you haven't learned it yet. So I'm not mad you guys don't know it, but like I'm impressed you guys got the
100 on the assignment then.
Yeah, it's 100 on the assignment. Joint assignment. You guys got 100. No, I thought it was interesting though, and then what I think is so cool too, and I love it, is like the next chapter. Oh, I don't think it's the next chapter. I think it's a couple chapters later. But when like the other second years are like, tell us how the fuck you got out. Like, how did you get out? And they're like, we have no idea. And it's also like, it's not a lie because they have no idea. Like, they're just like, oh, like we just got lucky. And they're the only ones to ever do it. And it's interesting. Again, like there is a character that, well, actually, there's no character that knows. There's a character that assumes, but there's no character that knows. So it's interesting.
Well,
but
there's a character that knows. Nolan knows. Because she thanks Nolan, because I think she thinks that Nolan is the reason why they got out.
Yes, but Nolan actually doesn't know how they got out.
No, okay, you're right.
Nolan
he doesn't know,
like,
but I think she thinks that Nolan knows.
Where the window open?
Yes, I think Violet thinks that Nolan knows. But yes, there's no one like, even like the professor doesn't. Brody? No,
Brody
what's the professor's name?
Brady.
Yeah.
Brady.
He doesn't know. Yeah, there's one person that like you'll see later in part 2 that's like they're like, oh, like I thought it could work like that, but I didn't know it would actually would. It's really interesting. But you do find out in part 2. You should know because I think it's the shower scene. Do you guys know what what it costs to like make the alloy daggers? And why like the Griffins and like other places can't make it?
Like some luminary, like forge thingamajig, right?
Like
you're correct.
Dragon fire, and then the luminary needs.
There's a special ingredient that's in the daggers. You guys definitely know because I'm pretty sure Zayden tells her, and it's one of those things that like I didn't realize when I first read it. I actually watched a TikTok and was like, "Oh shit!"
It's dragon eggs. Yeah.
Oh,
a dragon shell. Yeah. The shell.
Dragon shell of an egg because it has metal like that.
Because it has all it has
all the power.
They like talk about how like even the shells like contains like a shit ton of magic.
Much magic,
dude. Yeah. You bring up a good question. I want to drop some facts in here because there's less dragons wanting to whatchamacall every year, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it possible that they're just like, instead of letting the dragons fully hatch, they're like doing some kind of thing in the background where they're like stealing the actual full eggs and to make the alloy, and like that's why there's fewer dragons, because we really don't like, sure, Tyrion is like this badass dragon, but he talks about the elders, and the elders are like protecting whatchamacallit, and we don't really hear about any of the other babies that are like hidden away, but somehow Endara is like not hidden away.
You know what's funny, to double up on you, because I know where you're about to go. It's a book. It's called the Empyrean series. It's not called Fourth Wing or Iron Frame. It's called the Empyrean series. The Empyrean is literally the dragon's like lair.
Yeah,
it's literally a book series about dragons, and where you guys are at, and where you kind of finish in Onyx Storm, you barely know anything about the dragons.
Yeah,
you definitely know a lot more in Onyx Storm, but Iron Flame, like I was like you're sitting there and you're like, this is a book about dragons, and like I don't know anything what goes on like in like the Vale and like stuff like that because they don't share, which is so interesting.
Well, we just kind of learned about because they slip it during Andarna's like sleep or whatever. Like Tyrion talks about Tyrion talks about the elders are watching her. Because I feel like we don't really know much about it. I didn't realize there was like an elders group. I thought there was just like Tyrion was an elder. I didn't realize he's not even an elder. Like
he's mid-age.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
They don't like say his actual age. They just like allude to it.
He just says like I'm actually like middle-aged. Like he's not even an old man. Yeah. So not to burst your bubble, but even in Onyx Storm, like reading up until where I am, which is the end of Onyx Storm, I still don't know anything about the elders. I know nothing. Like literally nothing.
I'm surprised
like it's wild.
because they talk about the because even when during the scene where she breaks the news to all of them, saying like, "Oh, this is what's happening, the rebellion, yada yada, yada the wyverns or whatever," and then they all like sync up and ask their dragons, and then the dragons are like, "Holy cow, like," and then now they can talk to the dragons about it because the dragons know about it, and it's up to them to decide if they've been all told not to tell because the Imperium's decided that like we're not going to tell anyone because we don't know our official stance on things.
Because there's not an official stance. They leave it up to the single dragon. Yeah.
So
which that pisses me off.
My thing is like there's something weird about the Imperium.
I think you might be thinking something in the last 2 chapters.
Oh yeah, you might be right, Will.
But
because I just read,
it pisses me off that the dragons don't like inform.
Well, because they're
bonded.
Well, I know that they're not allowed. They're not that they're not allowed to not inform their bonded. They're only allowed to talk to their bonded if the bonded knows from another source, and then they can talk about it because the Imperium has chosen not to have a stance on it yet. So if they don't have a stance on something, they don't share anything. So it leads me to believe that there's stances on other things that they don't share. So it really just shows that like the whole book is not really about this like fussy little like fight.
No, it's about dragons.
It's purely about the dragons. So that's why I say like I don't really understand why the dragons somehow cower towards, unless the dragons know like they are like somehow worthless in this fight against wyverns, unless it's with the humans. Because I understand the whole metal. They need to metal this metal alloy to like kill these people, and like lightning obviously kills them too. And the dragons just get rolled by wyverns because they can't do anything against it.
Hey,
you're gonna tell me like just read? Yeah, you're gonna tell me
just finish part 1.
I don't think Will knows. Will looks over there like he's confused.
No, Will has an understanding at the start of part 2. It like really, it kind of, I don't want to say it confirms, but like. It helps you understand more the separation in the Vale and like what happens and like why certain dragons feel a certain way and like why certain dragons are not bonding as much. And it kind of has to do with the venom, but it also doesn't have to do with the venom. There's like, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, so I'll just say it. But like part of the reason why like the dragons are not bonding as much is not just because of the venom. Oh, actually, do I want to say that?
No,
should I say that?
Don't say what you're gonna say.
I
don't know what it is. I don't know what you're thinking. I might know if you were to say it, but I don't want.
I think it's in those 2 chapters. I think it's in those 2 chapters.
Well, leave it for now. Table it for now. We'll talk about it later.
I'll table it for now because I don't want to say it just in case.
We can segue out of this with another thing we just haven't talked about, as in Andarna being a black dragon.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that one because I remember Willie.
That's like off rip too.
That was my first one, dude. I was doing so. Yes, it was. I've been telling you Will the whole time.
You've had like 4 or 5.
No shot.
I don't know, to be honest. We might have to go back to the
whole time.
You can do the counter. I do 3. At least 3.
It's been 1, dude. I know it's been 1 because I've been paying attention to it in my head. But now I forget what I was going to say. Oh,
Andarna being black dragon. Like first 3 chapters.
I thought it was interesting because maybe it was. I think it. Oh no, this was our private phone call, Will. When we were talking about it before we started doing the videos, you were like, "Yeah, dude. Like, I just hope like Andarna's not like asleep for like the whole second book, or like when is she gonna grow up?"
I do remember saying, yeah.
Like you're like, what's going on? They're like, I don't want her to be a kid the whole time in the whole series. Like, is she gonna like become cooler? Like all that stuff.
I like how they're just like she's a teenager. And then just write her as like anytime she like wakes up from the dreamless sleep or before she even goes into it, all of the words just filled with like 16-year-old despite like of everything, dude.
It's so much better, dude.
Like her interactions with Tyrion is top tier.
Hilarious.
Dude, I have to talk about it. I was actually disappointed that she was a black dragon. I thought her dragon being golden and like a feather tail, and I thought it was so sick. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Maybe we might even kill off Tyrion.
Right.
I'd be okay with it because we're gonna get this cool golden ass dragon that's gonna fly around. We don't know what the signet power is yet. Like we obviously know she could time stop, but now it's like we got two black dragons. I mean, having one is badass, but now we have it makes having that one black dragon less cool because now we have two of them. And now we have two of them. Now it leads in my brain, someone's gonna die, and because that's where I was also alluding to before you go. Well, let me allude to this. I was alluding to Violet's becoming too much like Mira, so that makes me believe that Mira has to go. Can't have two characters that are too similar. Just get rid of Mira.
I don't know if they're like this because they're too similar, but I still believe that Mira will die. I just hope that it's not before she learns that Brennan's alive, because it does seem like even though she is a rule follower, would flip to the revolution, at least in my mind, the way that she seems like once she gets the truth.
She's
back
not,
to what you said, Greg.
hold on.
You know how hard it
She's
is to
not
sit
a
here
rule follower.
knowing the answers to all of these fucking questions and not be able to share, just to be like, Greg, shut the fuck up, you're wrong. Like,
Will,
Well,
I mean,
she's not a super big rule follower, but like more than Violet. So that's why I think like she's very much with the chain of command and like the structure of everything. But I think she'll see the truth and like flip because
she's not a
like
rule
on
follower.
the edge.
She just follows the chain of command.
She respects the chain of command. Not
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
clarification. That's a better way to say it. That's
because I was saying like she's broken rules many times. Like,
yeah, because like she flew with. She flew with Rhea and
Violet. To do something. Yes, like if she's ordered to do something, she does it. She won't break that command. But yeah, she does break the rules. She does fly with Rhea and Violet, which great scene. Love that scene.
Great scene. Yeah.
I will say this.
Mid scene.
Gregory.
Hey, Nick, are you going on something in a different direction of what Greg just said?
No, just finish the book, dude. Finish the fucking book and you'll have your answer.
Well,
that's all I have to say.
Dude, Greg, we knew that Andarna was not going to have... We knew that Andarna was not going to have a feather tail. Like, pretty early on, they say that that's just a hatchling thing in Fourth Wing.
And she's gold. Yeah.
I get it, but I
don't think it's said. It's not said until we find out that she's black that the scales start as gold. We just know that hatchlings have feather tails, not that they're all gold. Up until that point. The best thing I could say, without giving anything away, is there's a very, and I'm going to be fun of because I can't say this word, but there is a very specific reason to why that's her color. And there's a really cool reason you'll see that like they explain like basically like how the colors kind of work thing. And it's very interesting, but there is a very important reason why, and it's not only that it's important, it's emotional that like she's a black dragon. I feel there are a lot of other things you will learn about Andarna. I will say this. Andarna is one of the most important characters in the whole series. I honestly think like the last 2.5 books could just be her being the main character. Like once she's funny like, it's funny you said that because like where you guys are at when I was reading, actually even when I finished Fourth Wing, my prediction was like, well, she has 2 dragons, so like one of them has to die, and it's clearly going to be Tiernan because Andarna's the kid. That was my prediction from like finishing. She would die if one of them died. Would she? No, not necessarily. Yeah, like, you know, but like, I feel like yeah, that's true. I feel all right. If we're going based off just that, I feel like she wouldn't be able to survive Tyrion's death unless Andarna is like fully grown. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, like if we're going on that. Grown. Yeah, and then like right back now, to the only power is from Tiernan. Because you guys know that she doesn't even have the she lost the ability of exactly. You guys know we knew she was going to, but like it was accelerated, like with catching Liam. Yeah, so like, not to burst your bubble, but you guys will not find out her second signet until like the end of Onyx Storm.
I'm not worried about that.
She's got to be full grown, like to be able to channel or not, whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say I think Andarna is the daughter of Melgren's dragon. Just gonna chuck that one out there.
I know the answer to that.
I was gonna say with what Nick said, because I mean, if we're throwing out parents, I could see it being like Brennan's dragon, because Brennan's dragon then leaves with him and isn't at the Vale to like protect her or whatever. But I had this thought prior to it. Okay, Greg, I'm going non-parents, so keep going.
Yeah. I want to continue on another parent talk, or it could be
June's the father, dude.
No, not Nolan, but Noela. God, I don't know how to say his name. Naolan. It could be Naolan's dragon's daughter. Being the reason
Naolan's dragon is Tiernan.
Dumbass.
Oh, is it? Fuck.
Yes.
Fuck.
That's why Tiernan's like.
Tiernan goes like
he will the one.
Yeah.
Rip.
I was about to say that.
Rip. I don't know how I didn't make that. I don't know how I didn't make that.
That definitely sounds great in the audiobook.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Like the scene where like he gets like all mad at Varrish. He's like, "You will bow to me." It's like really deep, dude. It's like it's almost like what's his name? What's his name?
Idris
Elba? The guy.
You got to give me a book or.
Yes,
I knew it right off the rip, dude. Idris Elba. Dude, we are talking. We're talking like Zayden and Violet, but I'm Zayden.
We are there, dog.
I still didn't hear like who?
Like Zayden and Violet, we're talking, dude.
No.
Oh, Idris Elba. Idris Elba.
What?
Idris Elba.
I know who Idris Elba is. I'm
saying that's.
Are you like quoting a specific movie?
No, that's what Tiernan sounds like.
Oh,
in the audiobook, like it's like that deep, like voice is what I'm saying. No, like what I will say this: you will learn the answer to who Andarna's, I guess, the question of who Andarna's parents are, pretty soon in Iron Flame.
Before we move on,
do we know the dragons?
I was gonna say that I was thinking this, and like with what you said, Nick, about how it's like an emotional thing. I think like.
Dude,
say like Andarna's,
I'm not gonna be able to keep my fucking face, dude. So like, just be careful here, dude.
Say Andarna's parents,
just in case,
are like, just for the sake of argument, let's say that Brennan's dragon is one of Andarna's parents. If she grew up with that dragon, I don't remember his name, like in her life, she would like connect to him and like potentially then be orange. Based on like what she sees and experiences and like the power she feels. Tiernan, she grows up with Black Dragon and Sagail, like the strongest blue dragon. As we know, blue is like the second most powerful, I guess. Like she feels the power from Tiernan and radiates like Black Dragon energy and fucking like is around it the whole time. So she's naturally gonna be black. And I almost think that that's part of the reason why the dreamless sleep is being so long, because when she was born or hatched, she wasn't like not expected to be this powerful, but she ended up becoming it. Potentially.
Interesting.
Or she could be her mom's dragon's kid. Lilith's dragon's kid. This could be a thought as well.
I will say this: you don't learn that part of it, like the color, until like probably like the better half of the end of Iron Flame. Yeah, I will, dude.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but you brought it up, so I was like, "Oh, you can theorize on it."
We can chat about it. The boys can chat about it.
I want you guys to understand something. The last like 50 pages of Iron Flame. When I tell you are going to read the book, this is going to be you. You're going to be here. You're going to be enjoying. You're like, everything is so happy. It's a wonderful fairy tale. You're going to get to the last line. You're going to go, and you're going to be livid. That's all I'm going to say.
Will, come on. Nick is just dropping
Yeah,
emotional.
that's a little unnecessary.
Dude, that's going to have to be a blur on there.
Love it.
We're going to chuck a blur in
What
the
I
video.
what just based not even based off that, just the way the book's going, kind of feels like someone big's just gonna die at the end with all the death that's already in it. Like this is Fourth Wing had death, but this is like every chapter. It's just like character that we know like gone.
This one's targeted death, so it hurts more because like the characters
The
that are dying.
assassination attempts hurt.
Exactly. Where like Fourth Wing is just like, yeah, cool, fucking Dylan fell off. Dude, I've known him for like 1 minute. Like, you know what I mean? Where like these characters are like, I know these characters. Yeah. Like they fought. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they're all friends. Like, you know.
But then there's ones like where she like will introduce them and then just like, oh, this guy seems like he's gonna be pretty cool. Dead. Like Tomas. I was like, Tomas is a cool fucking squad leader. Eld because
Jacinha, right?
Dyra, whoever the scribe. No, that's
Jacinha.
Jacinha is not on the RSC. That's not the scribe.
The other scribe is Aeoli. You're talking about Aeola or what? What's her name?
Yes.
Aeoli or whatever.
Who the fuck is Tomas?
Tomas is the other squad leader of the riders at the RSC trip when they encounter Bade.
Yeah.
And Tomas is the one that dies because they like struggle mightily as a group.
It's like
what was the name of the infantry one? I thought
the infantry was like Calvin or
I thought the infantry was Tomas.
No, the infantry.
No, because there's a previous scene at the squad mats where Ree and Tomas are talking because he's another squad leader. Because he's a squad leader, she's a squad leader. They have 2 first years fight. Oh no, a second year's fighting either Sloan or another first year in the squad. And she's like, Jesus, Tomas, easy. And then he's like, I'm sorry. And then he's like, Jack, lighten up, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the name is. Yeah. I don't know who is. I'm trying to remember who the infantry cadet was, the leader, because he comes back.
Yeah, because Riddick's like the one that's like the one Riddick mocks the whole time.
Yeah, but then like at the end, him and Riddick become like kind of boys.
Yeah, I think it's
mutual respect.
It's something along the lines of Calvin. Couldn't tell you if that's 100% right though.
No, for a fact, it's not that. Unless it could be spelled that, but you're definitely saying it wrong, my guy. I know it's not Calvin.
I'm gonna try and find it.
What the fuck was his name, dude? Because he comes back, like he actually.
This is a big thing for you, telling me that I'm wrong, but not having the answer.
Yeah, but I've been wrong. I was right about the
common occurrence, Nick.
Yeah, but like he did not say Serena for the name, so I was technically right.
Oh, dude, we talked Danielle. Let's just quickly chat.
He said fucking Danielle. So.
Oh yeah, dude. We need to quickly chat about this cat girl, Katrina.
Okay. Did either of you know that when they said cat, like in that interaction, that was going to be Katrina?
No.
You did know? I didn't.
I had no idea.
I just read cat and I was just like, oh, okay.
I thought it was too much of a coincidence that like.
So honestly,
like, the best is that I love that scene though with Bodhi when he's like. He like goes to Violet. He's like, any chance you like forget that I just mentioned that? And she's like, no. And he's like, great. Like, he just knows he's gonna get his ass kicked. Yeah, Kat. I can't. Here's the thing, though. I can't talk about Kat because I know so much about Kat, and you guys just know her name. So it's like
we saw her. She's a Griffin rider. We know that she's a part of the Flyers, and we know that. Tyrion does make a little tidbit when he's trying to boost the spirits of Violet. He goes, just remember, you bonded 2 dragons, she bonded none. So that makes me think that at one point she was trying to be a rider, and then she failed because he says that.
Your question. I'm gonna hop you off that plane. That's not true.
He's just doing Jensen Viella.
I did because I don't want you thinking that because that's a good theory, but then like you'd be upset, so I didn't want you to think that because that's a really good theory. But like, no, he only says it because, and I believe the line is, I don't think he says it's none. It might be none, but he also says like she bonded the inferior species.
No, I'm pretty sure he quotes that. He said she bonded.
No, he does. But I thought maybe it's later on in the book.
You're both right. Like, he says. You bonded inferior. Greg's right. You bonded 2 she bonded. Then it's she bonded the inferior.
Inferior.
Species.
I knew Greg was right. I do remember him saying that, but then I do love that because like up until this point, like because that's when like all right, like we already said, like Violet's like the badass girl now, and then it's like, and you know, Greg was saying like, oh, like she's too much like Mirror, but see, like I think that scene is when it brings her back to being Violet Soaringale because Mirror would have never cared that. Wait, you guys know that, right? And we're about to spoil something.
About what they used to be together? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that cat.
What?
Yeah, that cat. Which they talked about that.
Because Bodhi's like, I haven't seen him. Like this with anyone, even
not even
cat.
But even after that, they talked more about it. They're like flying back to the outpost. Are we going to argue about my past relationships or stuff like that? They don't bring it up, but.
Yeah. Well, the best is I love that part when she's like, "Do you want to talk about her exes all night?" Like, and she's like, "Do you want to talk about my exes?" And he's like, "No." We do meet a Violet Soaringale ex though in Onyx Storm.
We already have one, Dain.
If you guys wanted to turn to page 138, I'm telling you, we're in the Parchile Forest, Cadet Asshole, otherwise known as Calvin, Calvin.
Got his ass quick, dude. That's gonna be a reel right there.
He's actually all right. Ready? Known as Calvin. ... He's actually gone about 15 minutes without reminding us that he's their ranking officer. So I'm sure we're due any minute now.
Hold on. Keep reading. Is there another infantry that we meet in that scene?
There's a Cohen, but he's not. Cohen laughs when Riddick says that Calvin's their Eidos.
It's Calvin.
Dude, wait.
Just flip the page. Turn
to page 138 in the book.
No. I'm saying I don't think it's pronounced Calvin. I know it's not pronounced. That's not how it's pronounced. You are right. That's how it's spelled, but I know that's not how it's pronounced because I remember listening to the audiobooks and it was not Calvin. But I don't remember how they pronounce it.
They're the incorrect.
Unless I'm thinking of a
different.
Well,
whoever does the audiobook is fucking stupid. Calvin is Calvin.
You heard it here first.
Put in the dictionary.
Roasting the audiobook reader.
After audiobook has
pronounced every word.
It's not. Then maybe it's not him who comes back. It's a different infantry. I thought it was him. It might have been someone different then. Because one of the infantry people
come up
words
again.
But I'm saying in part 2,
where we're
at, I know. But in like part 2, like one of them like helps them in something, and I really thought it was the infantry guy from RSC, but I guess I was wrong. That's why when you said Tomas, I was like, I think it was him, but I know for a fact it's not him.
Well, he's dead.
You just proved to me like Tomas is dead. Yeah, he kicked the bucket.
That one was sad.
All right,
wait,
guys.
Can we talk about that?
Okay. I was going to say, go ahead. I was going to say, like, we have a big topic that we have not talked about, and we are gaining very close to probably the maximum length these videos should be, because we're almost at an hour and 30.
All right, let's do this topic, then we can close.
Yeah, so Nick, what was your topic? Is it, do you want to share, or we can go with that?
No, I was just like a one-liner. It was just the fact that like I love when they come back in the beginning and they're like, "Is Zayden Ryerson?" And he's like, "Well, this is awkward." I thought that was just like such an awful
yeah.
And he's like,
and
I'm
then
not dead. Like, and he's like,
they know that
dad. Yeah, and he's like,
they know they're gonna be in.
Tell them that like Venom are alive and you guys are keeping this from us, or do we just pretend that like we won your exercise and like we're fine, like everything's like okay? I thought that was a cool line. Sorry, Greg. Go ahead though.
So you were going to say something.
He handles all the situations, like you like learn it, like when in assembly or whatever it is they talk about when he's like, your advice will be treated only as advice. So like we'll make our own decisions.
Yeah,
like Zayden. He just has the power in every situation, and it's unreal. He's just dominates everyone mentally and physically.
Just pops that shit out on the table.
Which is not like, I guess at the time he wasn't ready to bond, but like Tiernan and Zayden would be fucking unreal if that was the power Zayden had.
Wait, but do you know? I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. One more thing. Do you know Do you know the one thing about Zayden, like why he talks to the assembly like that, or no?
Because Vi's
Never mind.
mother
Nope.
whipped him.
Don't even guess because you
We've
guys
not
don't
about
know. That's
that.
fine.
All right, but I was
No,
also going to say
Yeah,
that Jaden reminds me of like the person, or like of the person. You know how like when you have an argument with somebody and you're like, then you go in the car and you think about it, and you're like, wow, I should have said that. Like Jaden reminds me of just like the guy that just like is saying that right at the right moment every single time. Like just doesn't need
Oh, yeah.
That's a
the
perfect way to
precursor.
describe him. That's an
Well, that's good,
unreal
yeah.
description.
Yeah, he's
That's
just like
great.
Man's ready
ripping
for
off
everything.
quick ones.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
Rapid fire.
perfect.
Which
dude.
was funny when
Yeah.
you get like the one chapter of his point of view. He's just like second guessing like everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's weird to see him insecure, but it was for sure.
That's
But
a nice tidbit, though.
it was a nice tidbit. But all right, let's get to this last thing that we got to talk about because it's massive and we can't not talk about this. We have to talk about them becoming a team and stealing these books. Like we did not talk about that
still
at
didn't
all.
talk about that?
We still
Yeah,
that's
we
the
brought it
that's
up
the
and just
whole
pivoted.
that's the whole ending of part one, pretty much. Besides the final
Eric
two chapters,
MVP, maybe not Rookie of the Year. Eric
Wait,
steps
but
up big
how-
Rookie of
time.
the year.
Auric, by the way. How great is Auric though? What I thought was so much fun is how he pulls Violet into the thing. And the only reason why he does that is just to piss Zayden off because Zayden can't get to her.
I really like their
thought
dynamic.
That was so funny. And I love the insecure Zayden. I know you said you don't like it. I love it. I said
No,
it brings him
I
back.
agree.
Like his one weakness is Violet. You learn there's
yeah.
other ones, but the main one is Violet. And it's just like that moment, like you see that he's like enraged, like would do anything he can to like get her back. The other one's Sigale. Just it's not a spoiler. You can figure it out. The other
Okay,
weakness is
because I
Sigale.
was gonna say we kind of learned that there's not, but you know,
but it's not like a crazy spoiler. It's just Sigale.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's fair
Obviously,
considering that
yeah.
he'd be
Considering,
fucking yeah.
Yeah, I would say Auric is just a younger Zayden. I would say like that's why they clash. They clash so well together. Is because Auric, the way he acts, like pulling her through, like knowing that's gonna piss other people off, but not caring at all, like literally dismissing any like feeling. Like he doesn't have any. Like he's not doing it. Well, I guess he is doing it out of a slightly undertone of malice, but it almost feels like it's so dismissive, like something that Zayden would do, where he just like. I don't care. Like him going on the Diaz and like smacking around Atos like in front of everyone, like insult, like you know what I mean, or like killing what was it, Amber, like essentially like in front of everyone, being so staunch and dismissive. Like Eric reminds me very much of him.
That's a great take actually, because I
didn't
mean,
know where you're going with it.
From like I know. Like, because I obviously I know more like than you guys, but like that is a great take, and I did not pick that up when I read Iron Flame. So like, kudos to you because you're 100% right. Because Eric's or whatever. Now you guys got me fucked up. Fuck, dude. His whole thing is like you'll learn like he just does what is right. Like he does what he believes is right. So like there are things that happen that like. People ask him like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Because it's the right thing to do." Mm-hmm. And like that's like his whole thing. And like I feel like at the end of the day, like that's Zayden's character, who like the to the teeth, right? Where it's like Zayden's always going to do what he thinks is right. Yeah. Now, what he thinks is right is always to put Violet first, which is fine. Mm-hmm. Where Auric is not. He's more like I'm going to do what's right for like everybody, and that's like the biggest difference. But no, yeah, kudos to that is a great take because when I was where you guys were. I was like, yo, this kid's a little fucking twat, but I love him. Like, you know what I mean?
Because he is just a younger Zayden.
He is, but what do you guys think? Do you think there's a deeper reason as to why him and Violet know each other, or do you think it's just like, oh, our parents because of the higher command?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw out that he's one of the exes that you said we meet, and we just learned that might be an ex.
That's cool.
That feels like. It could be something like that. I mean, they definitely talk about how it's like they're just like at the same outposts because the king and Lilith are like together often. I don't know. I didn't really get more of like.
I was just kind of curious.
I get. Well, I mean, unless if I missed something, it kind of just seemed like they were friends. But like, I could see like a potential ex situation, just the way like some of their interactions are. They're just like appear to like. have a deeper understanding of each other than like just random friends. At least they're
Yeah.
close, or they were. I think he's the man, though. I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's cool.
I could totally see, like, way down the line. He talks about how shit. I don't think this is in the last two. Greg, you know he has an older brother, right?
Yeah, it's like Hador.
Yeah,
or something
I don't
like
know
that.
his name. They like talk about him being first in
It's
line.
Haldon.
Yeah, he does not like his brother.
I could totally see
Nope.
Auric,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Auric being
Mhm.
king eventually, if he doesn't die. Like that's you got to make it. You got to make it 3.5 more books, like to get on the throne. Don't know if that's gonna happen, but
Yeah, like Rebecca likes to
like
say
I
in her
don't trust
interview, she's
anyone
like,
to make
"It's
it
a war,
3.5
guys.
books.
Like people will die." Like she's like, "It's a
Yeah,
war.
that-
People are going to die."
People are gonna be pieced up.
We also
so
we also
could
talk
not make
about
it.
Eric. Was that right? Eric.
Just fucking say how you're gonna say it.
Eric.
Continue.
We didn't talk about like so he has the older brother, right? But there was a third brother, and the third brother
The third brother's dead.
Zayden killed.
Zayden killed him.
Zayden
Yes.
killed him during threshing or whatever, right? So it
Yeah,
almost
because he attacked Garrick.
it was during threshing.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I do want to reference. It's like I'm not gonna lie. This is where I'm drawing more lines between him and Zayden. Are they have weaknesses to people that they have like extreme loyalty to, because you can obviously see he has like a deep bond love for his brother, and here Zayden has like a deep bond love for Violet. So it's like the way that he
and Garrett.
yeah, true. But I'm saying like there's a deeper bond in the sense of like these certain characters are that can I guess maybe show more love back or whatever, reciprocated or whatever, because the way that Eric like is around Zayden and not around other rebellions, not around any other people, he like literally will not overcome it, and it's such a stubbornness that shows that I feel like that's how Zayden would be if Violet was to die by somebody. It would be the same stance where it would be like, I don't even care if you were right. If she did any wrong, whatever, I don't care. I'd be so like, you would become number one enemy. I don't have any stands for you.
You are, dude. Just get to the first chapter in part 2.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
Get to the first chapter in part 2, and you'll know your answer if you're right or wrong. I will say, because I almost kind of slipped up and gave you my like almost popped off, but I held it together, so I'm proud of myself. However, I will say my only problem with the whole book scene, and like all right, so let me get this out because I get it. My only problem with the whole book scene is Zayden is pointless in the whole scene, and now let me finish, because I don't think Zayden needs to be there. However, I get why he's there, because they have to showcase that he can trust everybody, that he can work with a team and all that. However, there are things that you will learn at the end in part 2 that I'm like, Zayden just doesn't need to be there. And it kind of bothers me that he's there, because I felt like he was just there to be there. But like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like, I felt like he was kind of pointless. And like, honestly, I felt like it was like kind of gave me like overprotective, like boyfriend vibes. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like, I don't know.
It's 100% overprotective boyfriend vibes. Violet was needed in there, and he wasn't gonna let Violet go in without him. I do think so. Let's 3 necessary people are Imogen, Violet, and Eric.
I would also say Quinn.
I think. Yeah, but I think Quinn was somewhere else doing some like.
She's giving them alibis.
Quinn was like projecting her.
That they were like they're projecting that they're somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I would argue that
Violet Henry.
Yeah, like I would argue that Quinn's very vile.
She is.
Like,
I'm saying to go into the. I'm saying to go into the underneath, because
you only needed the 3.
Otherwhere, yeah. So
agreed.
Out of the people left, the only other one that you would pick to lead that group is Ree, because like Sawyer and Riddick aren't gonna lead that group. And while Violet, like, I think eventually becomes like a leader by herself, I still think that
it's an interesting take.
Like, in order to keep the mission like focused, like I think Zayden was kind of needed there, and also his shadows did come in clutch. They didn't spark any of the mage lights like going down into the like cellar, I guess. Or
but it's also Zayden who like Imogen keeps Zayden in line. Like when Zayden like is about to lose his fucking shit because he can't get in there.
100%.
Imogen's
It's
like,
an
calm the
overprotective
fuck
thing.
down.
Like,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like Imogen kind of steps up and was like,
I love Imogen's growth
Greg, you
in
might be
this
muted, buddy.
book.
No, I'm not muted. I'm just covering my mouth.
Okay.
She's been unreal in the book. Big fan. Gonna suck when she dies.
When she dies.
Everyone's gonna die.
Paul.
Everyone's gonna die. It's gonna
Will was
suck
trying
when
to get
she
out of me,
dies.
be like, "Yeah, it's sad when she dies. It's so heartbreaking."
Oh,
I
dude,
cried. He was
I'm
trying to
gonna
get
do
out
it
of me.
every time because I just am ready for everyone.
You
I'm
were
ready for the
huge.
like ready
At
mentally.
708.
I'm prepped for the series to end with the Venom winning because you know that's
so
not
am I,
gonna happen.
For the record, I am too.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah,
I think
but
it's gonna happen.
you just gotta be prepped for that scenario because anything other than that, pretty
You know what
solid
my
if we
hottest
get some
take before
characters to
Greg
win.
pops off here? My hottest take, and
Sure.
again, I don't know if this is true, and up until where I'm at, it's not true. My hottest take is I think the Venom are actually the good guys.
Dude, I have a hotter take.
That's my hottest take. And like again, I don't know the answer to it. I really don't. I would tell you if I did. My hottest take is that I think the Venom are actually like I don't think they're as bad as like people think they are, which part of me like just does it because it's clout and I think it's funny because like people get so mad about it. But part of me is like, maybe that could be true. I don't know. But go ahead, Greg. What were you gonna say?
There's nothing to like technically prove it wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's just take.
There's a hot take that I just want to fire off before I start talking about why I think Zayden is or is not useless in those scenes. The hot take I want to shout out right now is going back to like the dragons, like wanting to bond less and less, yada yada yada. There's a piece of mind that has popped in my head where I'm thinking possibly that the dragons know that eventually they're going to discard the humans. And some of them are either choosing to not bond with them anymore, or because that might be a potential outcome. So they don't want to either grow bonds and then like have problems with like being able to distance themselves from them. So that's just like a hot take. I'm letting that one marinate. I'm letting that one cook for a little bit. But back to the whole Zayden. Okay, sorry, go on.
Can I say something based off that?
Juice in.
Because there's something, I forget what the conversation is. I think it's with Violet and Tiernan. The original, like, dragons helping humans, humans helping dragons. It was like said, it was like, it's just like bare necessity that like the two are helping each other, like giving one minor thing and one minor thing back. Like it's not like a full mix together, like they're fully working together. It's like we need you for one thing and for that we'll fucking help you fight. Like you can ride us, basically.
Let's just say this: you're both right on certain parts, but that's all I'm going to say. Greg, give me something else.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a good juicy point that you provided, Will, because I don't remember that from the beginning, but now I'm glad you brought that up. But all right, the whole thing with Zayden, dude, I know why Zayden is in these random pieces. He's in these pieces because it's for the reader to get juiced up that like he's out there like pissed off and useless, and you're just like sitting there watching Violet be like this like.
I agree with you.
Like energy. I think that's the main reason he's there. Is just so like people can see that. Human. Yeah.
That he's not all powerful.
Mm-hmm. I think the author wants to make sure and understand and portray that like Zayden is not
the main character.
Not that he's not the main character, but his power is not like, because people like everyone keeps talking about it's like these two are gods together, but in reality, I think like yes, the shadows are cool and badass. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the lightning that she's just like summoning. Once she can start summoning from her hands, I mean, it's gonna be OP. She can get bonded again.
She gets another signet, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's just to kind of further cement in everyone's brain that it's like he may be leading the rebellion right now, but in reality, this will become Violet's war to win, kind of thing.
She'll become like
just small little pieces of it. You know what I mean? Small little pieces of it.
And like Nick, you know what I know about like after part 1. She's gonna be like or at least I think, based off where you're at, Greg, like the rallying point. Like Zayden like can lead and like fucking like hit you with the truth and like be a like just like
let's say this:
leader,
Zayden is not leading the rebellion, buddy.
Well, you get what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that he necessarily is. I'm just saying based off what we know and what I know.
Oh no,
from, like,
I'm
chapters.
I'm just letting Greg know that like I think I agree with what you said, but he is there in those scenes, and I think it's also to prove that he is not the leader. Like he is not leading the rebellion. On the outside,
I
it
don't
looks like
think
he is.
if someone was
But
to
there
lead,
are a
like, he
lot of
wouldn't be
things
here.
that happen that are going to happen that you're like, okay, like
Loki,
you know what I
Fen
mean?
could
You're
still
like,
be alive.
what'd you say? Well,
Fen could still be alive.
That's a hot
Is that
take.
his dad's name?
Ryerson? Yeah, Fen Ryerson.
That's a hot take.
Although in his letters he does talk about how he's dead, so maybe like an untold situation. But regardless, I'm basically just saying that Violet's going to become like the Mockingjay of like the rebellion. Like,
Yeah.
gets like other people to join. Like, lets the fucking ignorant
Yep.
people see the truth. Like shit like that.
Shout out the new Hunger Games books, by the way. They're gorgeous, dude. With the
Whatever
Mockingjays.
we're going to be reading at the time, I will be taking a pause to read.
Dude,
gorgeous.
That-
Gorgeous.
On the Reaping.
Crazy take here, but Hunger Games should have stopped at book 1.
No, Catching Fire is one of the best books.
It should have been.
They could have stopped after book 2.
They should have.
Agreed.
Should have cut it off. It's over.
They could have
Greg, 2 is
I
like
didn't even read the
one of
books,
my
but I already
favorite
know they
books
should have
of
cut
all
it.
It was
time.
unreal. It was the best book in my opinion.
Did you read it, Nick?
Yes, 2 is the best book.
Yeah, dude, unreal.
2 is unreal, dude. Unreal. I will say this. My ending thought.
Wait, hold on. Before we even bring up the ending, there's one more thing that's dying in my head because you guys have deemed me as somehow the Dain supporter of everything.
Oh my god,
dude! Can we talk about Dain dripping a little truth into Vi's ear at the end, saying, "You don't know Xaden. You don't really know who he is," and saying, "Do you know how he got all those scars and who gave it to him?" And then he just drops it right in her ear. Your mother gave him the scars. And then she just like compartmentalizes that because she's just like, I can't. She's so blinded by love by him. Why did she get the scars from her? What is happening?
I think she's more blinded by hate for Dain that he's like.
So I
how
didn't
could
bring
you
that
hate
up.
Dain at this point? How could you hate him?
I didn't.
I mean, he's an asswipe. He's an asswipe.
Hold on.
But how could you hate him?
Hold on. At the point that you were at, I did not hate Dain anymore. And at the point that Will is at, Will should not be hating Dain as much anymore either. But I will say that
but he's still
I didn't want to bring up the scars because I didn't know if that was the scene you read it. Because the next 2 chapters, major things happen there with this, like the scar stuff. And it's funny, Greg, because I know the last video you were so adamant, like, how do you get these scars? How do you get these scars? What are these scars? What do they even mean? So I was waiting for you to bring that up. But yes, you will get your scene that the scars become a very big topic of communication. And you will be very happy because there are details to how it happened, when it happened, all that stuff.
Dude, all I could say is I'm excited for Dain's growth as a character. I think his arc is great. Even though not a fan, I think his character is going to be sick. I mean, he is not, I'm telling you, not having a redemption arc. He is having an ascension. Right. Well, he's already at grace. He will have a fall from grace. He's currently floating right now. But he will start to fall from grace eventually.
Well, he had his fall from grace.
Not quite yet.
Dude, you're all over the map with this right
Not
now.
quite yet. He's still Gracie. If anything, he's gracing up from.
Right, Will?
Yeah.
He has his grace.
Something like that.
If you just read the last 2 chapters that you were supposed to read, you would,
All right.
Would we really
Next
be able to formulate an opinion?
We're finishing the book, Greg. Can you finish the book?
Yes. The goal is to finish the book by Tuesday.
There's less pages, right? Yeah, because we're
Yes.
well, I still have to read 20 pages.
30 total, I think. So
yeah, I should read because I wasn't able to read this weekend because I was sick. So that was 2 days.
Right, so
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna try. I might not either. But
the goal for everybody is try to finish the book. If not, we'll pivot like we did today, and we'll kind of just tell you what chapter. my last thought that I do want to end it on, because for whatever reason we just never talked about it. But real quick, one of my favorite scenes in Fourth Wing actually is the walk before threshing, and like when they're all walking. One of my favorite scenes is when the two green dragons, which is fun because one of the green dragons are actually Rhee's green dragon, but they like corner Violet, and like everybody's like, oh my god, what is going on? And they sniff Tyrn, which is Mira's dragon, because of the scales. I thought that was like a really fun like little thing. And it's interesting too, because
that was a really good and well written scene.
I thought that was really cool, and it's in my thought process is why I really like it, is because like she has two dragons. Everybody knows that. It's not a spoiler at this point if you guys have read the books, but up until the end of Onyx Storm, she still wears that armor. Like, she doesn't harvest scales from her own dragon, which I think is like a fun little tidbit. And like, why wouldn't she do that? And I think that's like a cool way to like, she always has her sister with her. I don't know. I thought it was cool though.
She basically has three.
We're dropping spoils. Vi does not die in Iron Flame or Onyx Storm. You heard it here first.
Well, I'm not confirming or denying that.
That was confirmed by this man right here.
Marcus could just have the armor on, dude.
Too bad I'm on this side on my
Yeah, you're
screen.
pointing the wrong way.
It's the
wrong way.
Audience, let him know in the chat. I'm pointing the correct one. This was like the Brady Bunch, all right? This guy right here.
Pointing the wrong way. Well,
no.
But yeah, that was my last pivot. That's my last pivot. But yeah, I guess thank you for joining us for another episode. Sorry they're long ones, but I feel like we kind of like the long ones. This is not
this one cooked.
We don't do this for anything. We kind of just do this because it's fun. The three of us like to get together and talk. It keeps us in touch, and that's why they kind of go off the rails. So we're sorry it's a roller coaster, but we hope you like it.
Next series you'll be off the rails with us.
Oh yeah. Do they know the next series? Have we told them yet?
What it is? No, we can't
tease the next series.
Oh, should we tease it?
The cheese is
It's
about
on the shelf right now.
It is. There you go. It's on the shelf.
There you go. Easter egg.
It's on the shelf right now.
That's all you get. It's about a war.
That's all you get.
Yeah, maybe it's a little different here because I know all the answers to these questions and theories are saying, but we hope you like it. Please like and subscribe and comment down below what series you guys think we're reading next. If you guessed Onyx Storm, congratulations, you're right. That was really hard. But yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Oh yeah, if you guess the next series, that would be pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. You might even get a shout out.
Drop a new hint every episode.
You guess the next series, maybe the three of us talk. Maybe you get to come on an episode and just chit chat with us. Maybe we'll let you in.
Maybe we'll let you chat to a stranger. We love it.
Or we'll let you join the book club on Goodreads. That's a pretty big honor right now. It's very exclusive. We've kicked other cousins out who have reached out. I haven't told Greg about that, but Will knows that I have.
You're dropping some deets on us.
Nick, that was an off-camera moment. That was crazy.
Who's getting
that was crazy.
He will jealous.
He won't see it, but that was crazy.
If you're watching, I love you.
Oh my god, I can't wait to find out who that is. All right.
See you guys next time.
See you.